Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us on our third and final interview with Darren. It's Friday, the 20th of May. Thank you for joining us, Darren. I believe you're having a bit of a party where you are just to celebrate a long week before everything goes crazy tomorrow.
Yeah, we're just having a relaxed social night tonight before our victory party tomorrow night.
Victory party because you're the sole candidate, right? You're the only one.
That, and I think I'm going to smash them out of the park at the ballot box anyway.
Yeah, no worries. That's all good. So this is just a very quick interview to try and just capture what happened this week and what is going to happen. So, Darren, there's no notes. We're just going to just sort of catch up with what you have done. A lot of people have been hearing about you on social media. So we're just going to do a wrap. So can you just tell us what happened again on Monday for people who haven't seen you before?
Okay, so Monday I went in to see if I could find the election writs for this current federal election, just to make sure that I was involved in something that was above board at the local pre-polling booth, which they couldn't supply. Then went to the divisional office in Frankston Gardens Drive to ask the divisional manager if he could supply that writ, and he couldn't do that either. So we left, and at that stage, it came to my conclusion that all I've learned in the last few months regarding the Constitution, that I'm realistically the only legitimate candidate in this race, because every other party here is a corporation, and I am a living man, and so I come to the conclusion that I would claim the seat of Dunkley for the federal election 2022.
Amazing stuff. We said it yesterday and the day before. What you've done is you've done something amazing which nobody else has done in this country, is you've actually challenged the Australian Electoral Commission to produce some paperwork, and there was nothing there, right? Nothing.
Yep. I mean, that paperwork should be on their website to be downloaded, and the only one we could come across to download was pretty much, yeah, I don't know what you'd call it, but it certainly didn't look like a genuine writ to me.
Okay, so we had an interview on Wednesday, and you were telling us about what you did to go and speak to a guy called Harry Papadopoulos. By the end of the week, he didn't want to see the back end of you, right?
Look, every time we rocked up, he wasn't too keen. He didn't like us recording our conversations. But the first couple of times we said that's fine. We'll turn the camera off. But we still got through the content we needed to, and he couldn't help us. So we left and we followed up with emails, and now we are 5 days later and still no writs.
No writs. So a lot of talk has been going around on social media. A lot of people trying to jump on this bandwagon, but they're all missing one thing, is what you did today. So we're just going to run through and say, I sent you some papers this morning, and you filled them out, and we've actually got a woman who's in a court case right now. So we didn't have to do, we just didn't have the ability or the time to get this injunction that we said at your meeting last Sunday in Frankston, but we did get it into a court hearing against APRA. So we sent you some papers, and can you just run through for people who've never been through this process what you did with that paperwork?
Well, the just went up to the divisional office and Harry to come down, which he did. Once again, we wanted to record this and informed him that this could be part of a Supreme Court case in the future. He didn't want it recorded. He stated he didn't want it recorded. We said, well, I'm sorry, but this time we need to record this serving of these court orders. And he wouldn't accept the court orders, so I just placed them on the table. And I said, well, consider them served. There's one there for you. There's also one there for Nye Coffey, the Victorian manager of the Australian Electoral Commission, and it's your duty to pass that on to your boss. It's your lawful duty to pass it on to your boss. And we basically left.
Okay, so for people who don't understand what just Darren just said, we did a summons for Harry Papadopoulos and his boss, Nye Coffey, the AEC manager for Victoria and Tasmania, and that document says he's got to appear in the VCAT tribunal, which is an existing case that we're dealing with right now, to produce the writ for the Governor of Victoria for us to vote for the Senate for tomorrow's polling day. Darren came up with a very good point. There's nowhere in the Constitution that there are multiple days to vote. There's only one day, tomorrow. But people have been voting for the last 2 weeks. So, Darren, you brought that up, and that was a very important point. I just want to get it on the recording. You said that to me yesterday and today. So we're going to talk about that too.
Well, I was looking through the advertisement that they put in the Herald Sun and the Age, and there was a couple of issues that I came up with, and one was that Tom Rogers basically said he received the writ issued by the Excellency Governor David Hurley, which is basically a lie, in my opinion, because David Hurley didn't issue that writ that was on the AEC website. It was issued by Ben Morton from Western Australia, and it was only witnessed by David Hurley. And the second thing that came up in both of the writs for the Senate and the House was that polling was the 21st of May 2022. It said nothing else about the 12 preceding days of the 21st of May 2022. And I put out my own video yesterday to everybody and any constitutional people out there to do a bit of research to see where in the Constitution says that we can have 12 days of voting in a federal election. Is that even legitimate?
That's a huge point that you've uncovered, and you've gone and done your research in the candidate's handbook. And then you told me during the week that you got a letter from this man, Harry Papadopoulos, that you don't have to appear if you got COVID. And there's someone actually fighting against Josh Frydenberg, a doctor, I believe, and she's an independent too. And you can't vote if you've got COVID. Well,
they've actually penciled in some other provisions where you can phone vote now. It's like phone a friend. You can just ring in and say, "Oh, yes, I want to vote for Peter Murphy or Sean Coombs." And so look, I don't even know where that comes from or who made that rule up, but it just seems to be a free for all at the minute.
Right. So you are running as an independent. You don't have deep pockets that you can run a campaign and have people at booths all day for the last 2 weeks, like the big two parties. So this is putting you at a big disadvantage, right?
Oh, of course. There's no level playing field in politics in this country, and especially in the elections when they drag on for 2 weeks. I mean, we've got other minor parties as well. They've even got less support than what I've got. I'm lucky that I've got a community that I've built over the last 8 months of 2,500 people that I've been able to call on to help man those polling booths. But it is definitely weighted against any voice of the people gaining any ground to get into politics or into Parliament to help the people of this country.
Right. So just to wrap up what we did today, Darren's taken the paperwork for a summons for Harry Papadopoulos, the Division Returning Officer, and his boss, Nye Coffey, the Division Manager or the State Manager for Victoria and Tasmania. They have now been served their papers, and that paperwork has been submitted into a tribunal court hearing against APRA. And the common theme between Darren and this woman who's fighting in that tribunal is one woman, the Governor of Victoria. Because if she can't do a writ for us to vote tomorrow, there's no laws, there's no pandemic law, there's no state of emergency, there's no Health Act, there's nothing there. There's no other reason why, except if she can't do this, then we've got all the laws in Victoria are now up to challenge. Now, I just need to add something here very quickly, Darren. I spoke to one of my members of my upper house in my area in the eastern suburbs of Melbourne, Dr. Matt Bach, B-A-C-H. I called his office for 3 days, and only today did I get an answer that they've got a piece of paper called the Government Gazette, which is a notice, and they said, that's the writ. I said, no, it's not the writ. So this is an upper house member in Victoria who has lied to me about this paperwork. They've said, what you've now proven, this is in Victoria, this has got to be repeated all across Australia on Monday. And we might even catch up again with you on Monday if that's okay. Now, this is important. One of my friends spoke to Senator David Van, V-A-N. He's a Victorian senator. He is not up for election tomorrow. And he said there are no writs for 2019 and 2022. This is a sitting senator, gave an email this afternoon and said, don't worry about the writs. They don't exist. So you have started something extraordinary, and we're going to get this message across everywhere across Australia. Where's the writ for our senators? So this is what you started.
Do we have no rule of law in this country? Why do the politicians and the bureaucrats not have to follow the letter of the law when we do?
Exactly right. How can they get around it and get paid their huge salaries that they appoint themselves? But if we go over the speed limit by 2 kilometres an hour, we have to follow the letter of the law. You're correct, Darren. This is what we've uncovered. A member of the upper house in Victoria and a senator for Victoria. They can't find any writs either after what Darren has said. And I told them, you need to know that there's a court action starting, and they put the phone down. Now, here's the next part, Darren. One of our friends in our circle went to find the woman whose name is on the government gazette, not the governor, a clerk of the Executive Council in Victoria. This is the inner circle of the governor, the premier, and a couple of ministers that they run Victoria on their own outside the parliament. She was asked, where's the writ? And she put the phone down on her too, and she couldn't handle it either. What you have started is extraordinary. I'm telling you right now. So this is for people's benefit. This is what Darren has done. He stood up. He's now found out that he is part of a fraud, and this is what he's doing. So in between all of this, we had a phone call late this afternoon, didn't we, Darren? We won't mention the barrister's name, but can you just tell us your opinion about what you heard from a barrister?
Well, there seems to be no will in the people, or maybe even the law fraternity to press this case or what we're up against forward, which astounded me. I thought that everyone would want to get their teeth into this, that people would be lining up the door wanting to be part of this history-making situation where we have the potential to open a can of worms that can never be closed.
So this barrister, we're not going to give him a shower because, you know, he's meant to be someone we're contacting, but he's trying to listen to what you were saying. And he said, and I'm going to say this to everybody, you're the only person suitable to become the next Prime Minister. I heard that.
He did say that, but also I think he's trying to temper our enthusiasm to a point as well, and be a bit more realistic in our expectations that we are up against the court system and a bureaucracy in this country that gives us very little hope, even with all the facts and the evidence that we have, and the unlawfulness and the potential fraud that these people are perpetrating against the Australian people. We are still up against it to have a win.
Yes, that came across nicely and clearly, didn't he? He was trying to sort of say, that just don't get too excited. Let's try really hard at the next election to try and see if we can get more independents in like you. But yeah, we're going to mention this again. Your friend, Damien Richardson, is standing in the Senate as an independent, and his name is not printed on the ballot sheet, correct?
Yeah, that's what I haven't read it myself, but I've heard that there are no. No, I'm not sure whether their name's not. I think maybe the independent or what party they represent may not be. But look, I'm not sure. I couldn't tell you.
Right. This is what people need to know before what happens tomorrow. And if you voted already, you've missed out this information that Darren has uncovered the fraud, which nobody expected anybody to talk about. They were hoping to get through tomorrow and pick a new winner because we don't have two parties anymore. Albo and ScoMo are going to vote for us to be joining the New World Order on Sunday in Switzerland. So whoever gets in, it's a done deal. And that's where people need to understand we've got our paperwork done today because of Darren, because of your courage to get this paperwork signed. It's in court today. And that's what I need everybody to understand. So I just want to wrap up. This woman that we have now reached out, and she's a clerk. She's not even a public official. She's just an office administrator she's got her name on the government gazette, which the member of the upper house in my area, Dr. Matt Bark, said is the writ. This is so far away from everything that Darren is fighting for about the governor has to sign the writ. We've got clerks and administrators and secretaries signing legal documents. And then you were wondering why we're going to go into lockdown again with this new monkeypox. If you haven't heard about it, it's already been popping up in Sydney and Melbourne already, and we haven't had the election yet. So just brace yourself for next week. So where are we coming from right now? Paperwork is in a court case. We're the only group at the moment that's going on the internet live to say our paperwork that Darren put together and stamped by a policeman, that police officer is going to be coming into court too, by the way, because he's going to be a witness. He's got to go and investigate it. And that's what Darren has done as the only legitimate candidate that can take the seat of Dunkley. He's been saying that all week. This is now capping it off about what's happening. What are we looking for? A call to arms. If you are watching this video over the weekend, even if you voted and you didn't know, we are looking to get 1,000 people behind Darren. 1,000. Jeepers, if we can't get 1,000 people in Victoria, we are really doing something wrong. Why? Because Darren has got to make a claim for the seat of Dunkley and challenge it. This is where Darren's coming from. Darren, correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm going too far on the line. If you don't get the result from Tom Rogers that you said all week, we need 1,000 Victorians to say, why didn't Darren get that seat if he's proven fraud? This is what we're going to be talking about. I'm going to give you my email address in just a second because we want to galvanise support behind Darren, who stood up for all of us, for your kids and his own family to do something, exposing the fraud. He's heard it from a barrister. They are not going to do anything because they don't want to get their, they don't want to jeopardise their licence, their practicing licence to keep working, to screw you and screw me and screw us. They are only there. I've said it. Lawyers can't protect us. Darren put it to this man and said, if we don't take advantage of this opportunity, it's gone. And what did he say next, Darren? Well, we'll try again at the next election. We won't like it, will we?
Well, I can tell you right now, and this goes to everyone in this country, we potentially won't have a next election if we don't stand up now. The people need to understand just the crossroads that this country's at the moment. And I know, just being on the pre-polling booths the last couple of days, the momentum shift in the mood of the people coming through and the lines have been snaking out to the road is very, very strong for independence. And stand up, Australia. This is our moment. Seize it and get on board to every single polling booth around this country and support your independence and have your voice heard. Don't do a donkey vote. Make your voice heard, whether it's legitimate or not. And let's take a few seats off them and start clawing some ground back.
Fantastic, Darren. I'm glad that you got to say that and you got to speak to some people. So I'm not going to hold you back because it's a Friday night. I just want to go over quickly because this is going to go out tonight. And as soon as I get this, Darren, you'll be getting the link on BitChute. We've wrapped up this week by saying that Darren has been saying this since Monday. He's the only legitimate candidate for the seat of Dunkley, the House of Representatives seat, because all other 8 persons are all corporations. That's the first thing he said all week. He's been consistent right through the whole week. We've now proven it with an affidavit to appear and to produce the documents to Harry Papadopoulos and his boss, Nye Coffey, who is the Victorian manager for the AEC. And they've been given the documents to produce the document in a courthouse on the 11th of July. This is now real. We've got this in court today because of Darren's work and his good friend Aaron, who got the job done and they got this recorded. We've got this from an upper house member in Victoria. There is no such thing as a writ. It's all done by a gazette. That's a notice board. It's just like a notice, an information what the parliament does. There is proven now from Darren, no writ. We've got Senator David Van, VAN. If you're in Victoria, you can go and call his office and say, what the heck is going on? How are you getting paid with no writ from the governor of Victoria? He said 2019 and 2022, there are no writs. I've got the email, and that's going to be published very soon. We had a phone call with a barrister, and he said, we have no Bill of Rights. Don't worry about it. It's over. We'll try again next time. That's it. Well, am I right, Darren? We'll try the next election.
Pretty much.
Pretty much. Okay. We've got these two men from the AEC and a woman from the Executive Council, the council that runs Victoria, not the Parliament. It's a little council that is run by a couple of people, and they make all the decisions. And this woman, Alexandra Debeljakovic, is a clerk, and she signed that document called the Gazette. She's going to get a notice to appear with the writ in court on Monday. Just time ran away from us. We couldn't do it. What are we looking for? What is this interview now with Darren? We need 1,000 Victorians to send an email to Derek, D-E-R-E-K, at Educate for Protection, one word, .website. I will get those names to Darren, and we are going to galvanise an army of people behind Darren for him to put in his claim into the AEC to challenge the seat of Dunkley, which he's claimed legitimately. We need to stand behind people like Darren, who's done the hard yards, he's done the work, he's gone to speak to these people when nobody else in Australia would do, and now he's got to get behind this man, Darren, for his courage to stand up and say, I have claimed the seat legitimately, because he just said there is everything stacked against the independents, even though there's a huge number of people voting independent first, it's still rigged. Why? Darren just said, you can vote with a pencil, you can vote on a mobile phone and not have to give an ID, and you can turn up whenever you like. If that's not open for rigging, and Darren has done his level best to get people to man the booths, he can't compete with the big boys, the Liberal and the Labor Party, which is the same thing. We have one party in Australia because they both agree with each other. So please send me an email to Derek at educateforprotection.website, and we will galvanise all of you to help and support Darren in his claim for Dunkley. If you are getting this message out, it doesn't stop on Saturday night. It starts on Monday morning. So Darren, I really appreciate these last 3 interviews we've had with you, because we have not changed our position. We are going to back you. We just need to tell more people, and we might even have another one over the weekend if that suits you, to see what happens after everything closes tomorrow night. How does that sound?
That sounds good, as long as it's not too late tomorrow night. Because
no, not tomorrow night. We'll just do another short one and burst on Sunday. Yep. After everything is said and done, because it's not going to be finished. I don't think it will, because a lot of people have voted postal votes. There's a lot of people who are not at home, so it may not, all the seats may not be decided on tomorrow night. So we'll catch up maybe and have a call on Sunday and see what happens. But if you can please, and you get this message, I'm going to get this on BitChute later this evening. You can help us to get 1,000 people in Victoria to stand behind Darren. We've got to get this moving. Darren's just told you he's seen it on the inside as a candidate. How upset he was today, I can't tell you. When he said, I can't say nothing. I've got to get the message out of the fraud. So thank you, Darren, once again. Really appreciate your time. I'm going to let you get back downstairs to your group of people, and we're going to close the meeting now. If there's anything else you want to say to your supporters and people who voted for you.
Look, I'm going to have well in excess of 20 or 30,000 votes. So I'd hope that I have a lot more than 1,000 people getting behind me for this cause next week, Derek.
Fantastic. And we're going to do everything to work with you and stand with you and going to take this matter. And then we'll decide next week where you want to go with any legal challenge. But Darren, thank you for your courage today to get that paperwork stamped and delivered to the AEC. It's done because of you and Aaron. And I want to thank Aaron, your campaign manager, because he has been right next to you. And that's when things work, when people come together.
Yeah, no, Derek, and all I can say is it's time to stand up, Australia. Get away from your TV, stop playing sport, and get involved in saving your country.
Thank you very much, Darren. We're going to leave it there, and we'll catch up with the weekend, and all the best for tomorrow night.
Thanks, Derek.
Take care. Thank you.